The movie Drop is a lot better than I thought it would be, and I actually really enjoyed my time with this movie, so let's talk about it. But as always, before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Erin, and I talk all things movies and TV, but really mostly movies. So if you're into that sort of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. It would be greatly appreciated on my end. And if you enjoy my videos, hit the like button while you're at it as well. And if you've seen this movie, let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. But now that that is all out of the way, let's of course talk about the movie Drop. So in this movie, we follow a widowed mother who is played by Meghann Fahy, and she decides to go on her first date in years. But on this date, she starts getting airdrops from a mysterious person threatening her son's life, and her night, well, takes a turn for the worse. Jumping right into the good, and the first thing I have here is of course the performance by Meghann Fahy. Now, the reason this movie does so well and works is mainly because of her. She is the glue that holds this entire film together. This was my first experience with her since I've never seen White Lotus, and I've heard that is what she is known for, but I was really impressed. She obviously played the widowed mother in this thing, who actually has a pretty tragic backstory on why she hasn't been on a date in a long time, but you see that in her performance. That backstory has not only made her more worried about her son, but also very nervous about meeting someone new. So when things do start to go wrong in this, and we get to see that raw emotion and worry out of her, it feels real and allows you to empathize with her character. And in my opinion, she was a very well realized character in this film, and this movie was better when she was on screen. We also had her co-star Sklenar, who did a good job as well, and they both had good chemistry together and were able to make this relationship feel believable. Him and the rest of the cast did a solid job, and considering that this is a very familiar premise and we've seen a million movies like it, this movie definitely relies on its actors' performances to keep the audience engaged and interested throughout this entire thing, and I think the actors were able to do that in this film. Another notable performance that I have to bring up was Jeffrey Self. He played their server in this movie, and he was very much the comedic relief of this entire thing, and I really enjoyed his character throughout this entire movie. But overall, I thought all the performances were good. This movie simply just doesn't work without them, especially the performance we got from Meghann Fahy. Next up for the good is surprisingly the cinematography and the artistic approach that they took with this movie. Now, as I said before, this is a thriller concept that has been done time and time again, most recently with Netflix's Carry On over the holidays. So in order for this film to succeed, it would have to set itself apart and kind of stand out from the others, and the way they did that was being pretty artistic and having some pretty unique cinematography. This movie did some pretty cool things with the camera and the lighting at times to help convey different things that mainly our main character was feeling in that moment, and that creativity really made this feel like a stylized film instead of another generic whodunit thriller. So shout out to Mark Spicer, who was the cinematographer on this movie, because I think that played a big role in this film setting itself apart from others like it, and also making it feel unique as well in a movie genre that has a surplus of films. And finally, for the good, is that I think this movie does a good job at just keeping you guessing throughout this entire thing. I thought it was very clever when it came to that aspect of the film. Now, for some of you, it may have been pretty easy to figure out who that person was that was leaving these airdrops on her phone and threatening her son, because looking back on this film, the clues were definitely there, but in the moment, I didn't catch those clues, and for me, I didn't find out who it was until we got that big reveal near the end of the movie. But while you're trying to figure out who done it, I also think this movie does a good job at just building that suspense and tension until we get to that point, and I think that also played a big role in just the intrigue of this film in keeping you interested throughout this entire thing while you're trying to figure out who the heck is leaving these airdrops. Moving on to the so-so, and the only thing I have here is, yes, you are going to have to suspend your disbelief a couple of times in this film. This movie definitely throws logic to the side at certain points in this movie just so the plot can continue to happen. One of those being, hey, if you start getting weird airdrops from a mysterious person while you're on a date, maybe turn off your phone and ignore it before they can get leverage on you. But obviously she can't do that, because then we wouldn't have had a movie and it would have just ended right there. And the next one that kind of bothered me was that, man, Sklenar's character has to be the most patient person on the face of the planet, because I don't think any man or woman would have stayed on that date if the other person was acting as crazy as Meghann Fahy's character was acting during that date. But again, if he would have left that date, then we obviously wouldn't have had a movie. But I also will say the way they got him to stay on this date was just one of those moments where you're just kind of like, really? I guess it's fine at the end of the day, but just beware that you might roll your eyes a couple of times at some of the ways this movie finds to keep this plot alive. And finally, getting into the bad, and the only thing I have here is that the ending felt way too fast. We got to that big reveal, and then everything after that felt rushed and kind of abrupt. We got this nice, well-paced build up until the big reveal, and then it just felt like a sprint to the finish. Plus, some of the things that happened in that last 15 minutes of this film felt kind of goofy, and I'm not saying the ending ruined this movie by any means. It just felt kind of out of place considering the way the rest of the movie went and felt. But all in all, this movie turned out way better than I thought it would. Meghann Fahy led the way and held this thing together, and the cinematography helped keep this thing feeling unique and fresh. It was a familiar premise, but I still think it's worth the watch. Those are my thoughts on Drop. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comments, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, get your Eazy Apparel at shopeasyapparel.com. God bless, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.